from 2014. We're all going to die. Coal or death? Choose coal. The choice was delivered by Australian Greens leader Milne, but the choice was made before the alternative of death was given. Coal is cheap, reliable, and long-lasting. It also produces plant food. It doesn't kill birds like a windmill or solar power station. It is just better for the environment. Luckily, China is building a lot of these beasts. 1 month before the world ends, according to the Rudd government's CSIRO chief scientist Penny Sackett. She made the rigorous scientific declaration on December the 3rd, 2009. She'd given us 5 years to avoid it. The modeling is in. The science is settled. Remarkably, the 2-degree centigrade rise she predicted with such deadly accuracy hasn't arisen. Neither has the ice shrinkage, ocean warming, or dam crippling droughts. The ABC has suggested we should succumb to such terror, where against terrorists they prescribe quiet stoicism and appeasement. Gaia will not have mercy, but luckily we will not have wrath either. Sonny shoots Shiite in Sydney as a father of many is shot outside a prayer hall which media do not call a mosque. A young daughter is interviewed and she seems to blame anti-Muslim sentiment as the camera focuses on her undeveloped chest and not her possibly obscured face. Meanwhile, a 15-year-old boy in cadet uniform in UK selling Remembrance Day poppies is approached by a hooded person and burned by a lit aerosol can. The hooded person is described as possibly black or Asian, which is code which may include Pakistani or Afghan. ISIS kills people with the wrong last name. The people are Sunni, but their village chief had resisted ISIS. The victims include women and children lined up and shot, numbering in the hundreds. Dozens of Australians are supporting ISIS. Many of those Australians were on welfare. Some claimed to be unable to work for their disability. Following the rules. Crazy ALP and Green local councils love legislation and rules for constituents. They make decisions about placing tables next to each other in diners, or the number of chairs patrons are allowed at those tables in those diners. Marrickville is one of the more ridiculous councils, having supported a BDS against Israel and successfully forcing an Israeli company to not employ some 650 Palestinian employees. The council has approved signs claiming it is coal seam gas free, which it isn't, accepting some 5% energy from coal seam gas. They have rules, but they don't follow them either. ALP, backed by pokies in Victoria, Racing Identity and former Crown Casino boss Lloyd Williams has claimed James Packer is backing the inept, corrupt, unreformed and sleazy ALP in Victoria. ALP had initiated Crown after they had spent other income sources, but Libs offer fiscal responsibility and seem to offer better prospects for all. Lloyd might not speak for James. Shorten has failed to account for his union activity to the Royal Commission into Union Corruption. Shorten has been quoted as having said, "Turn to a blind eye." If he didn't, he should say so. If he did, he should explain why. Them's the rules for leaders and everyone else who is functional. Robert Mann has been declared as Australia's foremost intellectual, but he is extraordinarily fact-challenged, not solely on global warming, where he falsified a hockey stick graph, but also on the stolen generation myth and so-called asylum seekers. Man seems to enjoy people dying from bureaucratic ambivalence, but that might be left-wing ideology unsupported by facts which left-wingers mindlessly embrace. Bureau of Meteorology has consistently miscalled weather favoring warmer on any day. They are consistently 10 degrees out on overnight lows, almost always claiming it will be warmer. But their forecasts are badly wrong, murderously so when Brisbane flooded. Time for research into the fidelity of the Bureau to reporting fact. Julia Gillard, questionable but protected by left-wing mainstream media. Would she have become Prime Minister if it were known generally she had created a slush fund to allow standover tactics to be employed to misappropriate funds meant for the poorest workers? It is as if she smoked cigars while stealing from children under her care. ABC's love affair with the North Korean leader extends to the production of a film which made tribute to North Korea's oppressor. The filmmaker described being denied choice by Stalinist government as detox and serene. Russell Brand is merely parroting what the left-wing claim, and although fact-checking him shows he is wrong, he will believe it and say it anyway. It is as if an opinion is not backed by reality, but vehement assertion. Uncomfortable truths, questioning the need for a racist constitution. Australia has prospered from a constitution which has allowed basic freedoms, secular authority, and the rule of law. It doesn't need to define race. It doesn't need to distinguish between races. Calls to create a constitution which isolates and favors one race over others will not address basic needs of the poorest, but will prevent the poor from prospering.